Of the Board of Education, I hereby call to order the June 18, 2026 business meeting of the board. I extend a warm welcome to everyone present for tonight's meeting. The board, Dr. Taylor, and I are pleased that you have joined us as we celebrate achievements, review information, and make policy decisions related to the effective operation of Gwinnett County Public Schools. Before we begin, I'd like to draw your attention to the screen to my left, where you will see the school board's core beliefs and commitments, which will be on display during our business board meetings. These statements aren't just words. They reflect the guiding principles that shape every decision we make and every goal we set. They serve as a compass for our district, reminding us that by our shared responsibility to foster learning, to foster an environment where every child can thrive. And I encourage you to take a moment and to read them carefully, as they are central to the work we do together as educators, leaders, and community members. As part of the board's new meeting schedule, the board held its monthly work session earlier this week. During work sessions, board members take the time to learn more about student learning, school operations, district initiatives, and they talk about topics that may come up before the board at the business meeting. You can view the full work session recording now on our website and meeting materials and reports on the board agenda online next week. The monthly business meetings of the board are open to the public. We are grateful for the number of people interested in our schools who are in attendance tonight. This business meeting is when the board conducts its business of governing the school system in a public arena. The business meetings are not meetings with the public, therefore comments from the audience will be confined to the time designated for citizens to address the board, according to policy BCBI. Speakers are encouraged to maintain appropriate meeting decorum, follow appropriate protocols, protect the confidentiality of students, prevent defamatory statements, and ensure the impartiality of the board. The board requests the speakers not speak directly about an individual, students, parents, or staff members. Thank you for embracing these qualities and modeling them for our children and our community during tonight's meeting. Please silence your cell phones or communication devices before we begin our proceedings. I would like to now invite Dr. Quincy Brown from Snellville Community Church to lead us in a moment of reflection, followed by the North Gwinnett High School Air Force JROTC under the leadership of Lieutenant Colonel Sonny Kim, U.S. Air Force retired, Technical Sergeant Paul Evans, U.S. Air Force retired, who will present the colors and lead us in a Pledge of Allegiance.
Good evening, Chair Dr. Johnson Morgan, board members, Dr. Taylor. I invite you to stand if you're able. I'm Quincy Brown, and I'm bringing greetings from Snellville Community Church in Snellville, Georgia. Thank you for asking me to be a part of tonight's meeting. As we gather together, may we demonstrate wisdom, integrity, respect, and grace in our interactions with each other. Let us acknowledge the many good things around us and ways that we can be a blessing to others. Thank you to those in the audience who lend their leadership and service to our schools and our community. We also extend appreciation to the many different peoples, our families, teachers, and others in the community who support public education and our public schools students. Finally, let us keep the children in Gwinnett County in mind as we speak, act, and make decisions tonight. With that in mind, I invite you to join me for a moment of silence for personal reflection about our students, our school district, and our greater community. Thank you. I ask that you remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Face. On. Ready to colors.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me as we recite our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Colors. Face. On. Forward. Colors.
Thank you. You all may be seated. Thank you, Reverend Dr. Brown and the North Gwinnett High School Air Force JROTC for being a part of this meeting. We now move to student public comments. We have one student speaking tonight. So our student, Mr. Andrew Milburn, we have podiums. You may come to the front. Please proceed to the podium closest to you. You are allowed a maximum of 3 minutes to speak. Thank you for your comments.
Hello, my name is Andrew Milburn, and I'm a GCPS writing master's student. I'm writing about what happened in my life development while I was going to Kilo schools. I know I did some things that were not right, and I understand why I got expelled. But when I look back, I see I had chances to make a choice and I could have avoided all of this. The first mistake was taking the bait. I shouldn't have taken the bait from my friend. The second mistake was tossing it to my friend because I got scared. Getting expelled took a lot away from me. I don't have the education opportunities I need to be the most successful I can be. On top of that, it caused relationships with friends and family. I cannot do extracurricular activities at all either. Since I got expelled, I've had a lot of time to think about what I did and how it affected my life, my family, my education, and the people around me. I've been going to the Gift Center East and trying to improve myself in school as a person. The Gift Center has helped me in some ways. The Gift Center does not offer the classes I need to be successful in the future. My education is important for my future. I want to challenge myself and be in a place where I can learn more. I think going back to the Kilo schools would help me stay motivated, focus on my goals, and help me become a better student. At the Gift Center, I also joined a group that taught us about the dangers of drugs. We learned about how drugs can hurt our bodies, our minds, and our futures. Before this, I did not realize that one bad choice could affect many things in my life. This group had taught me to stay away from drugs and how to make smart choices. This experience has helped me grow up a lot. I know that people have to trust me because of what I do, not what I say. I am willing to work to show that I have learned from my mistakes. My goal is to go to school with a new attitude, stay away from bad influences, and focus on graduating and making better life choices for myself. I want my family to be proud and show them I can learn from my mistakes. My parents have also been working hard
Thank you for your comments. This section of our meeting is very important and an example of how important your voice is. So thank you for sharing and having the courage to be here and to stand in front of us to share. Thank you, Andrew. Dr. Taylor. Do you have any changes to the agenda?
Yes, I would ask that we amend the agenda to add item 10.2, request for information, RFI, comprehensive equity audit, longitudinal ROI study, and strategic foresight.
Board members, do you have any changes to the agenda? Board members, do I have a motion regarding the agenda? Do I have a motion regarding?
I make a motion to adopt the agenda for the June 18, 2026 business meeting.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. It's unanimous. Next, we will have board recognitions.
Thank you, Chair Dr. Priest. We have one recognition this evening. I call on Jason Holcomb, Director of Athletics and Student Services. Mr. Holcomb.
Morgan, board members, Dr. Taylor, it's an honor to stand before you tonight as the Director of Athletics, and thank you for your continued support of our co-curricular and extracurricular activities. Tonight, we have one program that we bring before you. Behind me is standing the 2026 6A Boys State Champion Soccer State Championship team, the Mustangs from Meadow Creek High School. Here to speak on behalf of the school, Principal Kevin Wood.
Chairperson Dr. Therese, members of the board, Dr. Taylor, thank you for the opportunity to recognize a wonderful, fantastic group of young men and coaches. This year, our boys soccer team won the state title, but it goes well beyond that. Under the leadership of Coach Rodriguez and our coaches, our team has a team GPA of 3.3, great attendance, student involvement in both the school and the community, and has continued to grow. While winning the state title is an incredible accomplishment, the true victories happen each day in the classroom and in the community. This team's journey is defined by resilience and leadership. These young men showed up every day with focus and purpose, pushing one another, holding each other accountable, and stepping up as leaders, not only in our school, but in the community. They competed for something much bigger than themselves, and that mindset has helped make them champions. While we are incredibly proud of these student athletes that represent Meadow Creek High School with character, excellence, resilience, leadership, and pride. At this time, it's my distinct honor to recognize the 6A Boys State Championship team, the Meadow Creek Mustangs.
I want to also have take the privilege to just share how very proud I am as your district representative in District 5, and seeing you all stand in front of this podium is so very special, because when you all were winning in the process and all the text messages I got and the emails around how excited your families, your community members, you all represented so much more than you realize. And it was such a big deal. And I just am so proud of you and your community and your family for all that you all represented. You all played with heart and you played with hope. Y gracias por todo que ustedes hacen, porque sé que no es fácil. Y ustedes vienen con fuerza, con orgullo y con amor por su gente, su cultura, la comunidad, y tenga esperanza y sabe que ustedes pueden hacer cualquier cosa que quieren hacer, porque juntos ustedes pueden lograr muchos. Gracias un montón, te quiero mucho y felicidades.
Congratulations to the Meadow Creek High School soccer team on winning your second state championship. And thank you as well, Mr. Holcomb. Dr. Therese.
Now I'd like to have board recognitions for our interim superintendent. Dr. Al Taylor, we have a presentation for you. You want to help me present that?
Oh, appreciate that. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh, no, I appreciate it. A few words. All right. Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate you. Oh, this is such a surprise. You two in trouble. You ain't telling me about this.
Yes.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Now we're going to take a moment for our board members to share a few words. We want to read it? I'll read it what it says. Thank you, Lisa, for helping to make this moment possible as well. So it says, Dr. Al Taylor, for your outstanding leadership, collaboration, and commitment to our students, staff, and community, awarded by Gwinnett County Board of Education.
Thank you.
Lisa?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Taylor. I just want to say how much I appreciate your leadership. And, you know, we went through this transition. You kind of reassured us that we would be okay, and most importantly, the students would be okay. And thank you for keeping the train on the tracks, and really appreciate your leadership.
Yeah, Dr. Taylor, job well done. I can't remember exact numbers when we voted for the interim, but I do know I voted against it. So let me say that we can all learn from our mistakes, and I am so happy that my colleagues prevailed and put you in the position of interim. You've done a fantastic job. I mean, above all expectations, creating the stability that we needed during this transition period, getting us through the East Blast with the right information and being able to share the information around the East Blast with our community, with us so that we could share it with our community. That was huge. I think someone shared with me that no district had passed an East Blast without a sitting superintendent. I didn't go back and research it, but I could believe that could be the case. It's not hard to believe that. So you've done a great job. It's been a pleasure to work with you. You've been responsive throughout the process. Whenever I've had questions or concerns, you've done your research, you've done your homework, you've gone and found the answers. You've gone above and beyond. So thank you for your service, truly ultimately to our students. Thank you.
So, Dr. Taylor, I don't know what really to say, but I guess it's probably safe to say that you've earned a lot of respect from the 7 of us sitting behind this table and the several hundred in this building and the tens of thousands in our schools and across our district and the hundreds of thousands in our community. Thank you for leading with conviction, with stability, and you've always said, like Ms. Stone, it's going to be okay. And you've really got us to that point. And I think the one thing that really led me to believe to say those truths was really my first SLC meeting last summer in Athens when you walked on that stage and the entire room erupted, kind of like the Scottish fans at the beginning of the World Cup game. It was explosive. And I knew right there that you had commanded the respect of this district, of our people, and you've certainly earned it. So thank you for doing everything you've done and for leading us through this transition. And I wish you all the best and all the luck as you continue on your journey at GCPS. So thank you.
Dr. Taylor, we've gotten to know each other so very well. Being board chair last year, I was the one to call you to see if you would accept the responsibility. And I often wonder if you had to go back now after it's all said and done, would you have answered that call and still said yes? And I believe you would. When I think of the word stability, probably from here till the end of days, you will come to mind. You have truly created a stable environment, and from day one, you accepted that charge, you elevated that charge, you lived that charge. And I, for one, will be forever grateful. I never shared with you, shortly after you were named, the outpouring on social media around what people felt about you as a leader and how they expressed their relief that you were the one to take on the assignment. There were so many people that I don't know. These were random groups on Facebook and Instagram, which I'm probably sure you're not a part of those communities. But so many people said, oh, yeah, I've worked with him or I've heard of him and he's great. We're in good hands. He's one of the best leaders I've ever worked under. So when I saw that, it was just further confirmation that we made the right decision. I thank you. I appreciate you. I admire the way that you led in this role with conviction, tenacity, and your ability to connect with each of us individually is bar none. You are a true connector, which makes you an astounding leader. And I just want to commend you on a job well done. Thank you so much.
Yes, 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 Dr. Taylor, Boopchki Boo, you know, thank you so much for all you've done for us. And I'm joking. But I really never forget the words around the sequoia tree. When you first, and you shared it a few times with people who've heard you talk about the power of that tree and understanding that it grows tall and strong, but only as tall and strong as the roots beneath the soil. And when we appointed you as the interim, we knew that the roots beneath the soil needed some work, and you were able to really create this strong connection, and the water that you poured into this soil with first starting with the board. The first thing you did was really create a foundation of engaging board members and connecting us in ways where we were fragmented, and to do that work with us in a way that all of us felt, and to speak for myself, I felt like seen and valued and respected. And that, to me, was so very meaningful. And I appreciate just the time and effort and energy you spent with each of us individually to get to know us, and then how collectively you work together to connect us to be able to really move forward on the work. So thank you for your support. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for really embracing and watering the soil so that the connections could continue to grow stronger and so that you can grow taller. So we're so proud of you and we appreciate you. So thank you for everything. You want to say anything?
That was so uncomfortable. I'm extremely flattered, extremely humbled. It's been an amazing experience. And, Dr. Simmons, when you called, there was a moment of, why are you calling me? With this, but this district has given so much to me, and it has certainly made me who I am. So, and the individuals who have been in this journey with us for any amount of time, it was an easy yes, because I knew the caliber of folks that were going to be doing the heavy lift, right? So, my job was made very easy because the boots on the ground individuals who do the work every day, from the classroom teachers to the parapros to the bus drivers, that caliber of work, caliber of employee you just don't find by chance. And so thank you all for putting up with me for a year. And I definitely appreciate, all the staff and their late hours and how we all kind of came together. And I'm exceptionally excited, for the next chapter. I think it's we're in a good place to take a good system to great, and that's not easy work. So, and thank you all as well.
Thank you all. Thank you. Before the Meadow Creek team leaves, I want to give a shout out to Coach Rodriguez. Coach Rodriguez, you could stand. Tremendous leadership and work. Thank you so much, Coach Rodriguez, for all that you've done. Thank you. All right, now we will move on to the consent agenda, which allows the Board of Education to act on routine items of business as a series. Yes. You all, the guests who came for your acknowledgments, if you would like, you may leave at this time. Thank you all for coming and congratulations. Thank you. Our first item on the consent agenda is 6.02, purchase orders. This is an informational item and is comprised of a monthly report listing all purchase orders of $2,000 or more. For each item, the following are identified: the vendor, items purchased, destination of the items, budget amount, dollar amount, and method of purchase. Board members, are there any questions or comments? The action items on the consent agenda are B, 2346KM Natural Gas Marketer Supplier, Phoenix High School right-of-way deed. 6.5, GA-2214 AMS Fresh Produce items for SNP. 6.6, B-2240KM On-Demand Landscape Services. 6.7, GA-2615BM Lease of Printers for Print Shop. 6.8, B-2510AM Packaging for School Nutrition Program. 6.9, Certificate of Completion. 6.10, Curriculum Associates iReady Digital Platform. 6.11, RFP 2607KM Comprehensive Online Marketplace Platform for the purchase of goods and services. 6.12, Hofen Mifflin Harcourt Intro into Literature. Approval of minutes for the special call meeting held on May 9, 2026, monthly work session held on May 12, 2026, fiscal year 2027, first public hearing held on May 14, 2026, monthly business meeting held on May 14, 2026, and the fiscal year 2027 public hearing held on May 28th. Board members, do I have a motion regarding the action on the consent agenda? Do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we approve items 6.03 through 6.13 on the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. It's unanimous. Interim report, Dr. Taylor.
At this time, we will have Chief Human Resources Officer Kathy Harden provide an update for staff reports. Chief Harden.
Good evening, Chairperson Dr. Johnson Morgan, board members, and Dr. Taylor. The HR team and I are pleased to present the Human Resources Report for the month of June. Teacher Vacancy Report. We currently have 68 vacant teaching positions for the 26-27 school year. Teacher vacancies have decreased from 108 last month to 68 this month. We remain below where we were this time last year. where vacancies were at 76, which is an 11% reduction year over year. Our team remains focused on reaching full teaching staffing by new teacher orientation in July, and we are on a positive trajectory to meet that goal. Paraprofessional vacancy report for 26-27 school year. This slide reflects our current paraprofessional vacancies for the 26-27 school year, with 66 positions currently unfilled, which is a significant improvement from 108 at this time last year, a 39% reduction. 55 paraprofessionals have been hired since last month's board report. Paraprofessionals continue to be sourced directly to schools, and we historically see a strong increase in hiring as we approach the start of the school year. 26-27 new teacher hires. This slide shows the data regarding new teacher hires so far for the 26-27 school year. 1,003 total new teachers hired for the 26-27 school year. And you can see the breakdown as follows by level and regular eds and special ed. Teacher attraction and recruitment. Our most recent GCPS Teacher and Paraprofessional Job Fair was held on May 27th at the Instructional Support Center. Principals had an opportunity to interview candidates and invite candidates back to their location for tours and extended conversations. Our theme for this event was Bright Beginnings Began with GCPS. We had 218 candidates attend, with 19 schools and 1 district office team participating in interviews. 35 contingent offers have been extended so far from this recruitment event. Candidate attraction and recruitment. As a part of our ongoing efforts to attract top talent at GCPS, we've continued to invest in the strategic multi-channel marketing and advertising campaign. This spring, our approach included a blend of paid search, targeted social media outreach, and digital out-of-home advertising, reaching potential candidates where they both live, work, and play in the community. We've seen encouraging results during second semester, which we'd like to present today. Increasing in traffic to our career site, stronger engagement across platforms, and a steady flow of teachers and paraprofessional applicants. These efforts are data-informed and designed to extend our reach beyond traditional recruiting methods, especially for critical need and hard-to-staff roles. The data on this slide reflects the tangible progress we've made this semester and reinforces the value of continuing to meet job seekers in modern and meaningful ways. As you can see, our data from spring semester has either surpassed or is close to surpassing our marketing data from the entire year of 2025. I am very proud to share that our GCPS Human Resources team was recently recognized by the Georgia Association of School Personnel Administrators in 2 Best of Class categories. GCPS received a Platinum Award, which is the highest recognition for strategic partnerships as well as recruitment processes. These honors highlight the innovative and strategic work of our team and reflect our ongoing commitment to attracting, supporting, and retaining top talent, while also leveraging meaningful partnerships and modern tools to serve our employees and schools more effectively. It's a testament to the dedication and forward-thinking mindset of our HR professionals. We are incredibly proud of this well-deserved recognition, and I'd also like to take a point of privilege to thank the entire Human Resources Division for this excellent accomplishment. This concludes the HR report. I stand ready to answer any questions.
Congratulations to you, Chief Harden, and the team on the GASPA award. I just want to note and highlight the consistent enhancements and improvements year over year around recruitment. The fact that you're showing us the historical trends over the last 3 years, and we consistently see that number being more favorable in terms of us being prepared with all classrooms having a teacher and a paraprofessional in place come the beginning of school. I know that's not an easy task, but you all seem to be doing very well at ensuring that our classrooms are ready to receive students. And I just want to commend you on the continuous improvement that we're seeing in the numbers. As a point of clarification on the slide regarding paraprofessional vacancy, it looks like for 2026, we have 66 total vacancies compared to May. In May, we had 79 total vacancies. Should that rate be less? Right now, it's 3.2 for June, but the total is less. I was assuming that rate should be less too. Is that just a misprint, perhaps?
I would have to go back and look at that.
Okay.
I'll
I don't want you
double check and make
to. I
the
don't want you to
correction.
cheat yourself out of that percentage being more favorable. So I just wanted to check on that. But again, congratulations to you and the team. Thank you so much for the report.
Thank you.
Thank you. I also want to congratulate you and your team for the exceptional work that you all have been doing, and I also appreciate the historical trends. You have shown us that progress. The question I have is, I think it's slide number 5, underneath the teacher attraction and recruitment. The third bullet is 35 contingent offers. Can you kind of share more information about the contingent offers that you have available? And then if you can also share about the School for Early Learning, like how are we funding our literacy program at the other school that we just recently opened?
Okay, so the 35 contingent offers are offers that have been extended as a result of the candidates that we saw at that specific event. It's not a total number of offers that we have out, but offers that were specifically a direct relationship to that particular recruitment event. I would have to call upon our Teaching and Learning Division to expound on how we're funding the Early Learning Academy, and I think she's coming to the podium.
And to be clear, it's not the funding, right? It's just like the hiring and information around that.
Good evening, Dr. Harris and Board. Thank you for the question. So staffing has been provided for the Early Learning Center. There'll be 3 3-year-old classrooms and 3 4-year-old classrooms, and they're in the process of interviewing to fill those vacancies at this time.
Will we get a report on that? Just like
Updates?
how many people?
Yes, ma'am, we
we're
can provide
interviewing
that.
and- Yeah.
Yep.
So you are in the process now? And how is
Yes.
how is it going?
Great. So as the slides indicates, they participated in the recruitment, and so they're in the process of filling those critical vacancies. It's going well right now.
Right. So the pre-K teacher and paraprofessional job fair isn't only for that particular pre-K program. It's for pre-K programs
Across the
throughout because we
district.
have expanded our pre-K program. And because of the expansion, there's also staff associated with the other pre-K programs as well.
Yeah.
So
We're
that's
appreciative of the recruiting event that happened right on time, so. yes.
right. And it was specific for that. So that's great. Thank you for that information. Thank you,
You're welcome.
Ms. Harden, for that as well. No further questions. Thank you.
Okay, board members, you heard the monthly human resources report this afternoon in an executive session that included a list of all employees being hired, taking a leave of absence, and terminating employment. I would like to call attention to the leadership appointments that were discussed in executive session and are being recommended to you for approval, along with the other personnel mentioned in executive session. We are recommending Allison Breedy Johnson for the position of Deputy Superintendent in the Superintendent's Office with an effective date to be determined, Mary Ann Shepard for the position of Chief of Schools, Division of School Improvement and Operations, with an effective date to be determined, Dr. Sean Bird, Chief Academic Officer for the Division of Teaching and Learning, with an effective date to be determined, Nicolo Duwa, Chief Communications Officer in the Superintendent's Office, with an effective date to be determined, Dr. Rodney Jordan, Cluster Superintendent, Division of School Improvement and Operations, with an effective date to be determined, Lisette McCray for the position of Cluster Superintendent in the Division of School Improvement and Operations, also with an effective date to be determined. And finally, Dr. Kimberly Erickson for the position of Executive Director, Vision and Strategy in the Superintendent's Office, with an effective date to be determined. Chair Dr. Therese, I recommend approval of the monthly Human Resources Report.
Board members, do I have a motion regarding the monthly Human Resources Report?
I make a motion that we approve the monthly Human Resources Report.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed, say nay. It's unanimous. Next, Dr. Taylor.
At this time, we will have Chief Financial Officer, Ms. Anna Mallard, provide the monthly financial update. Chief Mallard.
Thank you, Dr. Taylor. Good afternoon, Board Chair Dr. Therese, board members, Interim Superintendent Dr. Taylor. I'm pleased to present the General Fund Financial Report for the period ending April 30th, which is now the 10th month in fiscal year 2026. Total revenues to date are about $2.284 billion, which is about 15.7 million, or just under 1.69% above budget. Local revenue is slightly under budget by 7.9 million, or less than 1% of that budget. State revenue exceeds budget by about 23.3 million, or just about 2.26%. Federal revenue exceeds budget by approximately 322,000. This is, of course, relatively small in that whole category. This is, again, like ROTC revenue. Overall, revenues are performing slightly ahead of the expectations in the budget at this time. Then now we look at expenses. Total expenditures are $2.328 billion, which is about 86.8 million below budget, or about 3.58%. Salaries under budget by about 20 million, about 1.42%. Benefits also under budget by 14.4 million, just under 2%. Other expenses are slightly under budget again by about 55.6 million, almost 19%. This reflects, I think, largely a lot of the salary savings from vacancies, timing of expenditures, so that, the instructional expenses or instructional type expenditures, they continue to represent more than 81% of the general fund budget. Student transportation is about 7%, consistent with what we've been saying. Maintenance operations about 6%, and general fund is still less than 1%. Across all major categories, expenditures are below budget. Keep in mind this is through April 30th, 2026. Overall, the 10th month mark, our general fund is again stable. Our unreserved fund balance is ending or projected at 16.9%, which is again above the target range in our policy, which is a minimum of 12%. This concludes my report.
Thank you. Board members, are there any questions?
Yes, I have one question. Thank you, Chief Millard, for this presentation and for drawing out that this report that we have in front of us is as of April 30th, 2026. I know that there has been some recent state legislation, particularly and I know we just passed our budget about a month ago.
That's correct.
I want to, and it was controlled for potential state law, and I have a question around Senate Bill 33, is there someone from the district who can speak to potentially the impacts of Senate Bill 33 that was signed into law? I believe it was May 11th, 2026.
Yes, I could facilitate that conversation, but essentially, Senate Bill 33, we would now, whereas in the past, if you know, we had the luxury of opting out of House Bill 581 and not having to have property taxes capped, that now has been removed or repealed, and we now have to, property taxes on homesteaded exemptions, in other words, or assessments, will be capped either at CPI or 3%, whichever one is higher, inflationary CPI. But with that, it means our revenues are slightly more restricted than they were in the past. You know, we did have those ballooning years, if you recall, in 2022, 2023. Nationwide, you had, you know, digest growth all in the 24, 30% growth. Again, unprecedented times. So we're restricted with revenue, but what we have to remember as well is that because we are very conservative and we knew what was coming or could anticipate what was coming, we built our budget significantly lower than even that 3%.
Okay, thank you, Chief Millard. And I think it's important that you mentioned that we are in unprecedented times. And if you could also share, so with the cap on property taxes, what or how homestead.
Yes.
So how would that revenue? How is that revenue utilized? Like, how would a school district like GCPS utilize that revenue?
I mean, that funds everything that we do supplementally that the state QBE doesn't currently fund. 30% of our salaries. It's most of our transportation. You know, we get about, now $30 million in our transportation reimbursed from the state. We spend over $170 million. It funds most of our special ed. It funds most of, our certified healthcare costs. Millions and millions and millions. So it's a significant area of need, and not just for us. It's all school districts.
For the entire state. And would you say, in your professional opinion, that with a cap on this tax, that it potentially limits funding for salaries? You mentioned special education and other supports and services that we provide, or that Gwinnett County Public Schools provides for schools and students.
Certainly, anything that limits your revenue is going to put you at risk. And naturally, with your budget representing a significant amount of your budget is salaries, certainly you could anticipate, yes. So that's why we have to be very strategic in how we manage this.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Item 7.2 is the monthly financial report as of April 30th, 2026. The reports are from the financial records kept at the central office and do not include local school financial records that reflect receipts and disbursements at each school. It also includes a copy of our sales tax receipts for SPLOST 6. I recommend approval of the monthly financial report.
Board members, do I have a motion regarding the recommended approval for the monthly financial report?
I make a motion to approve the April 30th, 2026 monthly financial report.
A second.
Is there any discussion? Just want to clarify regarding the SPLOST. And I think Mr. Burke mentioned this before. I just want to make sure that I'm recalling correctly that even though we have funding that's allocated specifically for SPLOST, if there are certain needs that we find as we are exploring our facilities audit and exploring our equity audit, what are some things that we can include that might be a part of this? Can you kind of just explain a bit more around that? If I'm not mistaken, you mentioned about starting first.
Reports right now, that's current revenue, so that's current capital plan. That's really that February conversation we had with the board about what's completing. We have looked forward to further conversations about the next, the upcoming SPLOST that we just advertised and passed with the public. I look forward to those conversations really with Dr. Estrella and our board.
So these are all the closeout ones that we're just finalizing, and it doesn't include any additional, extra stuff we didn't plan?
The current revenue does not. There's an emergency fund that we keep in place. We've talked to the board about that before, but it's all those projects we talked about funding in February.
Okay.
And then in April, the revenue will start coming in later this year, end of this calendar year. And that's really what the program, April, and the new SPLOST program that we shared with the public prior to the referendum, that's when that starts, that work starts. But further conversation to come with our board.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All in favor say aye. Any opposed say nay. It's unanimous. Dr. Taylor?
Item 7.3 on the agenda, 2022 through 2027 Building Program and Construction Report is for your information only. This report is a listing of all construction projects funded by the 2022 through 2027 Building Program budget. It also provides the current status and scheduled completion date of each project. If any of you would like an update on any specific project, Interim Chief of Operations Patrick Burke can provide you with that information.
I do have a question for Mr. Burke. You're getting your steps in today. I noticed on the report, the Shiloh Middle School construction, there is an increase in the contract of almost 10%, and we're only about a third of the way finished with the project. So that's a bit concerning. Can you share a little bit about the increase there?
Thank you for the question, Dr. Simmons. It's worth mentioning we're still within the budget itself. I've got a total of, it's several items, but the largest single component of it is, the largest single component. You may remember we shared it with the board, this idea of taking this opportunity to add on to the school, but also reconfigure the existing school. So you'll remember, if you walk through that school, it has the feeling of being added on to. So when you look at the distribution of things like science labs, they're not uniformly available throughout the school. So we accepted the alternate to spread that throughout the school. That's the single largest component of that $1 million. But I can send you a list of all the change orders at that school.
So we shouldn't be concerned then that we're going to go over budget?
No.
Okay.
We're within the alternates and an acceptable change order amount.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
This also includes the, I know we were removing trailers, Mr. Burke, and I wonder, where's the cost associated with the removal of the trailers? Is it here?
Yeah, no, thank you for that question. Most of the costs associated with the removal of trailers is in the general fund. So that lives in the business, building maintenance department.
And have we looked into also the walls for Radloff Middle School?
Not Radloff specifically. So we've been out there. We've got a lot of those type of walls throughout the district, almost 1,000 of those partition systems. Our first step is always to try to repair it and try to deal with the acoustics and the bleed. I'll get you an update on where we are and checking on that. When it was raised, I know we sent staff out there.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Taylor?
The annual Investment Oversight Committee report is for your information only. This report is submitted by the Investment Oversight Committee. The Investment Oversight Committee is composed of 6 members, 4 from Gwinnett County Public Schools and 2 investment community members. The report is presented for the board's review and reference in compliance with policy DFL investment earnings.
No, we don't have, are there any questions?
Wait for questions. Okay. Former principal Jason Lane was one of the longest-serving principals in the district. During his tenure, Mill Creek High School excelled in academics, fine arts, and athletics. Mr. Lane focused on student-led leadership, created a successful STEM-based learning program, and encourages all staff and students to lead the Mill Creek way. The Mill Creek community would like to honor him for his years of service. I recommend naming Mill Creek High School's stadium field the Jason Lane Stadium.
Board members, do I have a motion regarding this request?
I make a motion to name Mill Creek High School's stadium field the Jason Lane Stadium.
Is there a second? Any discussion?
Yeah, I'd like to say just a few things about Mr. Lane. I've been able to serve, he's been the principal there for the entire time that I've served on the board. And it was mentioned, but it bears repeating, that he created EPIC, the project-based learning STEM program, which is now the state of Georgia model for STEM programs. When other schools across the state want to become STEM certified, the state sends them to Mill Creek to see how it's done to gain their certification. 14 years at Mill Creek as a principal, he's increased and maintained high levels of student achievement throughout his time there. And I think it's important to note that for several of those years, it was the largest high school in the state, with over 4,000 kids in a facility, close to 5,000 kids in a facility that was built for closer to, I think, 2,800. So he did an amazing job. 20 years of leading Gwinnett student leadership, or being on the Gwinnett student leadership team as a board member, and a strong proponent of student leadership and student voice. He created Lunch with Lane and Java with Jason to better include the students and community in an effort to create stronger parent-student community partnerships. If you want to consider athletics as important, he had over 30 state championships during his tenure. Created and maintained an environment where teachers and staff wanted to come and stay at Mill Creek, had the lowest transfer turnover rate amongst all GCPS schools. His EES and Gallup surveys were consistently among the highest in the district. And Mill Creek is on the top band of schools for the weighted school assessment. It has been for years. So he was an exemplary example of what can be done when you lead with care, compassion, and character. And that's what Mr. Lane did. So I encourage my colleagues here on the board to support this. And also would be remiss if I didn't mention that this is completely community generated. There's no district effort to get this thing named after Mr. Lane. This all comes from the school council, the community, and the stakeholders of Mill Creek and the area and the surrounding area.
I think that's the way the process is. Always great to have a process like that, and we've had discussions about this before around like just naming, and it coming from community is really great. All in favor say aye. Any opposed say nay. It's unanimous. Student discipline. By law, matters related to student discipline, appeals, expulsions, and/or petitions for readmission must be discussed in executive or closed session. Georgia law further requires board members to affirm in the public business meeting actions taken in executive session. The first item of business under student discipline is a monthly tribunal summary. Board members, do I have a motion regarding the monthly tribunal summary as presented in executive session?
I make a motion to affirm the action taken in executive session regarding the monthly tribunal summary.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed say nay. It's unanimous. Board members, do I have a motion regarding student discipline appeals as presented in executive session?
I make a motion to affirm the action taken in executive session regarding student discipline appeals.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed say nay. It's unanimous. Board members, do we have a motion regarding student expulsions as presented in executive session?
I make a motion to affirm the action taken in executive session regarding student expulsions.
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed say nay. It's unanimous. Dr. Taylor?
Board members, in the June 16th work session, staff provided the board with an overview of the revised startup charter petition for the Achievement Preparatory Academy. District leadership staff has reviewed the application for compliance with Georgia law and Georgia Board of Education rule and presented the findings of the charter school petition review process and the capacity interviews. Chair Dr. Therese, I recommend that the board approve the revised startup charter school petition filed by the Achievement Preparatory Academy.
Board members, do I have a motion regarding the interim's recommendation?
I make a motion to accept the charter school petition filed by the Achievement Preparatory Academy.
Is there a second? Is there any discussion?
Yes, Madam Chair. I want to draw attention to, you made reference at the very beginning of this meeting of our core values and beliefs. And on our core values and beliefs, we are committed to making data-driven decisions. And right now, Gwinnett County Public Schools, GCPS, is asked to authorize startup charter school applications that external review committees have called irreparable for current petition cycles that probably duplicate what GCPS already offers in communities where enrollment is declining and projected to continue declining, supported by political endorsements from co-authors of state law that punishes local boards of education for saying no and incentivizes local board of education with grants for saying yes. Our first core value and belief, the one above all others, says students are the center of every decision, not legislative consequences, students. Thank you, Madam Chair.
School board members take on fiduciary responsibility of protecting the district's financial health. We are charged with stewarding resources ethically, responsibly, and strategically. So here are the facts. There is a consistent decline in student enrollment across GCPS, with the most significant number of vacancies in the Duluth, Norcross, and Meadow Creek areas. Interestingly, all schools in the Duluth and Meadow Creek clusters are currently underutilized, all of them. We have over 3,000 empty seats in those clusters alone. The Norcross cluster has an additional 2,000 empty seats. So that's over 5,000 empty seats in the area that APA is proposing to open. Although enrollment is declining, costs are not. It costs a fixed amount of money to heat, cool, and light a facility, no matter how many students are in seats. If you conduct a quick scan of our neighboring districts, you'll learn that systems are currently in the process of planning school closures as a result of underutilization. DeKalb County is considering 27 school closures, and Atlanta Public Schools is considering 16 closures. As a matter of fact, this past school year, Atlanta closed 2 charter schools due to limited enrollment. If we have to close and consolidate schools, we will inconvenience our GCPS families. While GCPS is not proposing to close any schools yet, launching a new facility just does not appear logical at this time. The current climate doesn't appear to support it. At a time when the state has levied Senate Bill 472, enforcing strict financial oversight in response to financial mismanagement by school boards, I would hope that the state would reconsider penalizing systems for making decisions they believe are in the best financial interest of the community. School board members are elected to be responsible financial stewards of taxpayer funds. Allow us to do that without penalty. To be clear, I'm not opposed to charter schools. I have a lot of colleagues that have implemented and led impactful work in charter schools. It is, however, difficult to support offering a charter as a choice when traditional schools aren't fully funded and are experiencing disinvestment in real time. The state refuses to fully fund public education here in Georgia. It has not updated the QBE formula in 40 years. Additionally, there is a present threat to further limit school funding by capping homestead tax assessments. These actions, compounded with private school vouchers, defund our public schools and dilute educational outcomes. It takes more money to educate students from marginalized, low-income communities, not less money. The more money we disinvest from our students that are struggling the most, the wider the performance gaps will become. In closing, I implore our state delegation to revisit the quality-based education formula and to fully fund our school system so traditional schools can be adequately resourced to meet the varied and ever-changing needs of students. I yield to you, Chairwoman Therese Morgan.
My comment regarding this is very similar. I think across our nation, we have seen efforts to dismantle and diminish public education through a variety of mechanisms. We've seen the attacks on the role of the federal government in supporting public education. We've seen the expansion of voucher programs that redirect public dollars from neighborhood schools. We have seen state funding formulas that have not kept the pace with the realities and the needs of modern public education. And here in Georgia, we continue to operate under a QBE formula that many educators and advocates agree deserves significant review and modernization. At the same time, local boards of education have experienced increasing limitations on their ability to make decisions on behalf of the communities that elected them. We have seen legislation that changes election structures, reduces local flexibility, and creates additional constraints on the ability of locally elected leaders to respond to the unique needs of their communities. When viewed individually, each of these actions may appear disconnected, but when we look at the collective systemic pattern, it is a pattern of disinvestment and diminished local control that ultimately impacts our students. As a board member, my responsibility is to consider both the immediate and long-term consequences of our decisions. We've spent considerable time discussing declining enrollment trends, as Dr. Simmons shared the specific numbers related to that in those specific districts. We know that enrollment impacts our funding, and our funding has been impacted, from impacts to staffing, programs, services, opportunities, and supports for our students. So every student leaves a traditional public school, they take the resources with them. The money follows, the points follow them. When we remove students, we also remove points. We remove the very resources that we say that we need to support the needs of our students. So when we talk about closing gaps, it is important for us to ensure that we focus on making the investments necessary in our current public school system. We rarely hear discussions around adding additional resources before proposing new structures. So I say that we focus on increasing our resources, advocating for our QBE formula to be increased. We focus on how we can continue to invest instead of divesting in our public education to ensure that we're meeting the needs of each and every child. We also have a new superintendent who is coming. We're also doing several audit studies, and I think we have additional work to do around evaluating and understanding the needs and what gaps exist and what we can do that are evidence-based strategies to help address the gaps. So I believe we should give us the opportunity with our new superintendent, give the opportunity from all the findings from the investigations of the reports and recommendations and engaging with our transition team, engaging with our new strategic plan, we have lots of opportunity to really allow our system to answer the need and close the gaps. Our core beliefs and values cause us to meet the needs of each and every child. Access, opportunity, belonging, and excellence are aspirations. And beyond that, they are commitments that we owe to every child. We must invest in public education and ensure that every decision we make advances the collective responsibility of our students in serving their needs. Do I have a motion?
Do other people get a chance to?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because I'd like to say a few comments.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
All right. Deflecting fear and hypotheticals. That's what you've just heard from my colleagues. We're here to make a decision based upon the facts that are before us. You talked about facts, you talked about evidence. The evidence is that the staff is making the recommendation to support this charter school. The facts are that the legislature has given parents the opportunity to choose where their children get to be educated, and some of those dollars, not all, but some of those dollars, the state dollars, do follow those children. But that actually leaves us with more dollars to spend in our system per student. I think it's the utmost in hubris to believe that as a public school system, we're the only ones that can provide a good education that the parents would choose for their students. In fact, you can document that parental involvement is one of the key aspects of student success. And if the parents choose a charter school over GCPS, that child has a better chance at succeeding. I'm not happy that we have 8 promise schools in this area. I think we have to do some things to address the performance in those schools. Absolutely. I think those are things that our new superintendent is going to come in and address. Absolutely. I think she could take some of these extra dollars and put them into those schools. Absolutely. Does the state have a screwed up situation where they determine promise schools? I believe they do. I believe there should be a standard, not just a percentage. But that's not the reality that we're dealing with. We're dealing with the reality that the legislature has identified promise schools and given parents the opportunity to leave. This charter school allows us to keep many of those students under our umbrella. It's utilizing a lot of the success that we've had, but tweaking it in ways to make it unique so that those parents can choose to be involved with their students to find success. The other thing that you said, that you all mentioned, was flexibility at the local level. The biggest piece of flexibility we have are our Swiss waivers. If we get 3 strikes, they can take away our Swiss waivers. Our flexibility goes right out the window. Now we are forced to maintain every classroom at every number that the state prescribes and not provide the flexibility and the opportunities and the options that we present to our students across this district in ways unlike any other district. So you want flexibility, you take the staff recommendation, you keep these kids under our umbrella, you give this charter school the opportunity to succeed, you're enhancing equity within our community. And I'll also say that I'm voting for this, but I know in the past, now that I'm a lame duck, so to speak, but my opponent, now the incoming board member, had a significant part of her campaign underwritten by Georgia Can, which supports charter schools. So I'm confident in believing that in District 2, you're going to have a charter school support. Again, I think this helps students within our community, which is what we are committed to. We're not committed to only serving students within GCPS, I believe. I believe the heart of each of our board members here, it wants success for every student, whether that student is in GCPS, a private school, or a new charter school. I would like to see us support the establishment of this charter school based upon the staff recommendation. And if there's a staff recommendation, you better believe that the state is going to approve this when they appeal to the state decision makers if we deny it.
I think building off of what Mr. Knudsen said, I think we have a big opportunity here at GCPS to, in addition to approving this charter school recommendation from our staff, but to build off of our CTAE programs that this Achievement Preparatory Academy is going to offer to our K through 5 students. Let me repeat that, K through 5. This is an excellent opportunity to come into our community in this area, Duluth, Norcross, and Meadow Creek, and provide these wonderful resources. And putting into perspective, again, just more information for y'all to absorb. In the first year, which is 2027, 2028 school year, max capacity of student enrollment is 200 students. At full capacity, they're looking at 475 students, and that's at grade 5. That's max capacity. Offering programs in STEM, entrepreneurship, food, and natural resources to our K through 5 students, our youngest minds, shaping youngest minds in STEM and entrepreneurship. Give them an opportunity to learn, to absorb these programs that GCPS is offering, but let's build on that. Let's continue to work on that. We offer phenomenal STEM programs in some of the early elementary, in middle and high school, several hundred programs we need to build. We have an opportunity to partner with this school, keep our students in our schools, and still work alongside them as well. I do support this as well. Yes, we have work to do. I don't disagree with that. And yes, we have work to do, of course, at the state legislative level. And our 8 Promise schools are something that we are strongly focused on, and that is where our dollars need to go to help those students. This is a good opportunity for us to engage in our community, to engage with our students, and help them achieve success. I yield back.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay.
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 Nay. 3 nay, 2 no. Motion fails. Dr. Taylor?
As a reminder, policy JCD, Student Conduct Behavior Code, revisions have been made to align with the Georgia House Bill 340, the Distraction-Free Education Act. As the recommended revisions comport with Georgia law, we are recommending the board waive its normal protocol and adopt the policy as presented without placing it on the table for 30 days. I recommend that the above policy with revisions be adopted.
Board members, do I have a motion regarding the interim superintendent's recommendation?
I make a motion to approve the proposed revisions to policy JCD, Student Conduct Behavior Code.
A second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. It's unanimous. Next, Dr. Taylor.
As a reminder, the Gwinnett County Board of Education requested research to conduct a Gwinnett County Public School Equity Audit Review. 2 firms were interviewed by the board. Tonight, the board is asked to identify the preferred vendor and authorize the superintendent to finalize negotiations and enter into a board attorney-approved contract with the selected vendor.
Board members, do I have a motion?
I move to approve Education Resource Strategies as the contractor for a comprehensive equity audit, longitudinal ROI study, and strategic foresight, and to authorize the superintendent to sign a board attorney-approved contract in an amount within the superintendent's contracting authority.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I will say I'm not going to support either one of these, not because I don't think that an audit's necessary, but I don't think we've done the work necessary. We've done some good work in talking with these firms, but we have not done the work, and we, as a board, have not done, I believe, the heavy lifting in terms of the scope of this audit. I believe that we've just now given a very broad and vague situation. I don't think that our new superintendent fully understands the scope of what we're doing here. And so therefore, I really wish that the agenda had stayed as it was, which was to allow this to be pushed back to make a decision when the new superintendent is on board. I think that as our new leader that we've hired, she should have a much stronger role in determining what the scope is, because based upon the actual scope that we define, you might find that one of these two is better at the task than the other. For instance, I talked to some folks who have worked with both of these organizations. They talked about the detail that ERS gets into, but they also talked about the potential that in terms of the work and the implementation over time, that the research and Georgia State resources that AIR brings to the table might actually make more sense. We're going to get a report from both of them, but that doesn't necessarily mean that how we move forward, again, because we haven't fully defined the scope, we don't know which one is the better long-term partner. And so I'll offer that for my comments, but just let you know that I'm not going to vote for either of these tonight.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, my initial preference was educational resource strategies after getting through the comprehensive interview process that we had, and we each had a chance to conduct 3 interviews with each of the 2 final search firms, or so, I'm sorry, not search firms, but audit firms. And for a lot of the reasons that my colleague, Mr. Knutson, stated, is the reasons why I lean towards ERS, for this purpose. But also, waiting for a new superintendent to come on board is also a key reason to have her input, to have her better understand exactly what takes place, what's involved in our school system. This is a very, very robust school system. There's a lot of moving parts, there's a lot going on, and I think she needs to have a hand in this. So I cannot support AIR at this junction, and I'm sorry, I'm backwards. ERS. I cannot support ERS at this point.
Thank you. I want to share a little bit more about the process because I was a little confused around, I guess, your perception, Mr. Knudsen, related to the process. We did include Dr. Estrella in reviewing the scope and allowing her to have feedback. I was able to have some discussions. I think, were you able to as well, Ms. Stone? Were you able to as so there was an opportunity where all of us had to engage. We also involved her in the process for interviewing the candidates for the equity audit. We also each interviewed the equity audit firms. She participated in the interview process. She was very much a part of the interview process, very much a part of the scope. And if you notice, the motion also gives her the authority as the superintendent to finalize and confirm the contract detail and figure out what that looks like to fit the needs of our school system. So we're giving complete authority for our superintendent to be able to do that. But, and we've also had the opportunity to watch other videos from the interviews that you all conducted, and I found those very helpful. So I feel like the process was very thorough. It was certainly inclusive of Dr. Estrella and her leadership and respectful of the process. We did request for her engagement, and I'm grateful that we were able to have that, considering she was balancing closing out, her leadership in the district and then opening this her new role here. So I made some comments yesterday around the preference of the Education Resource Strategies, ERS, and then American Institutes for Research, AIR. Both of these firms have experience with GCPS, their local content knowledge. They are both firms that are certainly familiar with our work. I would say that looking at ERS strategies, in particular the presentation they did in 2020 for GCPS, I found it actually really helpful, and a lot of the work that they did with us before, I think there are some opportunities to certainly enhance it, update it. It was in 2020. So we can continue to figure out how we can improve on some of the strategies and recommendations they made, and I think they'll certainly find some insights, but because they have a foundation with us, I think that's helpful. Also, when I looked at the cost of ERS and the cost of AIR, ERS was significantly cheaper, and that was something that also felt like, from a cost perspective and really being responsible around our budget, that was also a benefit as well. I felt like their proposal, their report, their interviews, and the way they were focused on defining and articulating what equity is and how equity really is truly going to be focused on how are we looking at schools across our district and meeting the needs of all of our schools, whether they're from our North Gwinnett schools to our, South Gwinnett school. Like, how are we making sure that every school gets what they need? And that is how we become successful as a district, where it's not just one focus on one group or one area, but it's really looking at how do we figure out meeting the needs of each and every child. And I really liked that ERS had a center focus around students, and our core belief and commitment, number one, is around centering the needs of students, and I loved how they had an intentional engagement around centering the needs of students and also engaging community members. And I think that we as a board have been really focused on more so now, like trying to engage the feedback from the community. So I like that ERS is going to kind of expound more on that. So I'm just looking forward to, hopefully, if this motion passes, we can work with ERS and allow Dr. Straya to lead this process and us with the board, right, and support. And we can work collaboratively with her, as this is a board project as well.
Just as a comment, one thing I've appreciated about this transition is the opportunity to chat with Dr. Estrella from time to time. Literally talked to her yesterday morning about this, and I would say that characterizing her based upon my conversation with her just yesterday morning, I would not say that she fully understands the scope and expectations, and even communicated that as we finalize those, it could determine which is the better organization to go with. So I know she's heard favorable things about ERS. I know she's heard some things about AIR, but her comments to me were that she doesn't believe we fully defined our scope and expectations, and I think that's accurate, and therefore we're hiring without all of the facts, without all of the concerns that we might have as a board in terms of what we're getting out of this process. So I'll just end with that.
I just want to reiterate the focus of ERS on the student experience and how prevalent of a theme that was with their presentation, and that their work is centered on what are our students experiencing and how can we improve upon that in the areas where needed. I feel strongly about this organization being well-positioned to lead the work. Not only have they supported other districts in the Metro Atlanta area with this type of work, but they've supported many large districts of our same size. It's difficult to compare oftentimes what we're doing in Gwinnett to other systems in Georgia because we're the largest system in Georgia. So I appreciate that ERS is able to bring to us their experience and expertise around working with 25 of the 50 most largest systems in the country. I feel that the insight that they can bring to us because they've experienced that work is invaluable. So I look forward to working with them. Both firms presented this pursuit of working with our governance team to define the work as we move forward. They both expressed how that is a part of their process. So I feel excited about and competent in the work that ERS and our partnership with ERS and just their commitment to being a thought partner in the process ahead.
Thank you. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All opposed say nay. Nay. 2 nay. 3, yay. All right. Yay. Next, we will have constituent comments regarding our policy and school operations. Socorro Lai is first to speak, to approach the podium, and next is Terrence D. Pearson. Terrence D. Pearson.
Good evening, Superintendent and members of the board. My name is Terrence Pearson, and I'm a resident of Gwinnett County and proud GCPS parent. I'm standing before you tonight to address a critical operational and policy gap within our district's otherwise exceptional dual language immersion, or DLI framework. It is the fundamental responsibility of GCPS to ensure that our written policies translate to equitable resource allocation for every single student in this district, particularly our students with disabilities who require specialized support. Access to an inclusive education is not a privilege, it is a fundamental civil right. Our district's published DLI program guidelines state clearly on page 3 that multi-tiered general educational interventions must be thoroughly utilized to support a student's academic progress within the immersion environment. Furthermore, our standard GCPS elementary handbook explicitly lists co-teaching models as standard general education in-class intervention. The core philosophy behind these guidelines is fully aligned with the legal and ethical mandate of a student's right to a least restrictive environment. By definition, a child has a protected right to be educated in the regular classroom alongside their non-disabled peers. They have a right to have special education and related services provided directly within that regular classroom setting unless there is extensive evidence that the environment cannot succeed, even with supplementary support. Specialized academic tracks must be fully accessible to these students, and a child should never be excluded from an advanced tracking program simply because they have an individualized education program or require a co-taught environment. Yet despite our policies framing co-teaching as an in-class general education support, local administrations are giving families a devastating ultimatum. Families like mine are being told they must either forfeit their child's hard-earned placement in the advanced bilingual track to get a co-teacher in a traditional English-only classroom, or let them navigate the DLI environment without the intensive classroom resources they require. This is an administrative scheduling and staffing issue, not a student capability issue. When a student has spent their academic career mastering a second language, the answer to an academic gap is not removal, exclusion, or segregation. It is the responsibility of GCPS to protect the civil rights of these students by ensuring that the necessary resources are brought directly to them, allowing them to remain in the regular classroom alongside their non-disabled peers. I am asking this board and superintendent to look closely at how special educational co-teaching resources are allocated within our specialized programs. GCPS has a duty to ensure that school administrators are fully equipped, funded, and directed to place certified co-teachers directly inside our DLI classrooms.
Thank you. Next, we have Sheila Carves.
Good evening, board members, Dr. Taylor, interim superintendent. My name is Sheila Carrs, fourth grade teacher leader at Simonton Elementary School. I stand before you tonight, first giving God glory for my courage, strength, and the opportunity to speak tonight. I am here to challenge a conversation around governance, accountability, and high-quality leadership at the building level, specifically regarding the culture and climate at Simonton Elementary School. Over the years, under the current leadership, there has been a pattern of high staff turnover, declining morale, and concerns expressed by staff regarding leadership practices, patterns of behaviors, and workplace culture. I have personally witnessed grade-level teams of teachers leave the school, educators retired early, forced to retire, forced to resign, or quit seeking other opportunities. While employee transitions occur in every organization, when high turnovers become persistent and widespread, it deserves examination. Simonton Elementary was once a thriving school, but now it is on the list as a promise school. In a world-class system that is continuously failing under the current leadership. We have had an employee from the district school improvement office over to help coach the current administrator. There has been staff surveys and interviews. There has been multiple efforts at the building level to address concerns related to staff morale, culture and climate, communication, and support. Yet, many staff members continue to feel unheard, discouraged, fear of retaliation, and disconnected from the vision and leadership of the school. Tonight, I want to remind us that while strategic plans and student outcomes are important, the foundation of every successful school district is relationships. GCPS has established a blueprint for the future and high expectations for its leaders. We expect principals to build trust, foster collaboration, support staff growth, and create environments that leave a positive impact on students, families, and staff long after they leave the building. With the remainder of my time, I will respectfully challenge the board and incoming superintendent to examine the questions. What systems are in place to hold principals accountable for school culture and climate? And how do we ensure teachers feel safe, valued, respected, and empowered to do their best work to the greatest good of the organization?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Next, we have Stephanie Brown. After Stephanie Brown is Wendy Cogan.
Hello, I stand before the board yet again to discuss compensation. I understand that Gwinnett has a supplemental retirement plan, which is great, but more compensation is needed in pay. Clearly, Gwinnett has prioritized attracting new teachers to the district, as new teacher pay in Gwinnett is competitive with the two highest paying Metro Atlanta districts, which are Cobb County School District and Atlantic Public Schools. For the 25-26 school year, the starting salary for a new teacher with a bachelor's degree in Gwinnett was $60,146, compared to Cobb at $60,604 and APS at $61,816. All pretty close, right? Conversely, for veteran teachers with advanced degrees, the pay difference is substantial. A teacher with a specialist degree and 20 years of experience was paid $91,580 in Gwinnett this past year, compared to Cobb at $107,988 and APS at $111,458. That's a difference of $20,000, well, $19,878 to be exact. There should not be that large of a disparity in the same metro area. Not only does such a large difference in pay make things more affordable for those other teachers in those districts, it makes the retention rate higher, as staff don't want to leave and take a pay cut going elsewhere. When I first started teaching over 20 years ago, I purchased my first home for $120,000. The average list price for homes in Gwinnett is almost 4 times that amount at $442,567. So $1,000 or $2,000 raises will not move the needle in this current economy due to the extreme cost of living increases. I understand Gwinnett does not want to overextend the budget, but a teacher should not be able to go a few minutes in another direction, or some of them are closer to those districts and commute here, and make $1,600 more a month doing the exact same position. Gwinnett has an extremely high amount of administrators, central office staff, and non-instructional positions. I've taught middle school most of my career, and prior to moving to Gwinnett, every middle school I taught at had 3 assistant principals, 1 per grade level. In Gwinnett, I have 6, which is double the norm. Are 7 administrators really necessary in a middle school? And I know high school numbers are even higher. Those types of things have been changed in higher paying districts, which freed up the funds for them to give teachers impactful raises. Beyond teacher compensation, why are school resource officers' salary steps capped at 21 years? If full retirement isn't provided at 21 years, which it's not, salary steps should not stop there. How are SROs supposed to manage an additional 9 years with a stagnant salary, especially considering many of them took pay cuts to work for the school system? I implore Gwinnett to take these concerns seriously and implement changes to retain experienced staff and pay staff competitively considering the rising cost of the economy.
Thank you. Next, we have Wendy Cogan. After Wendy is Austin Crawford.
Good evening, Board, Dr. Taylor. My name is Wendy Cogan. I'm a mom of 7, and I've been a GCPS parent for 25 years. I'm speaking as a parent, not on behalf of an organization. Since December, I have filed 4 state complaints and 1 due process case involving special education rights for 3 students in my family. That should concern this board. In February, the Georgia Department of Education found GCPS violated special education requirements related to reevaluation and prior written notice. Corrective action was ordered. GCPS did not meet those corrective action deadlines. A student in my family is now expected to start 7th grade with expired eligibility from November of 25, an overdue annual IEP, and present levels that describe him as a 5th grader who plays alone at recess. That is the IEP that served him through 6th grade. In April, I filed additional complaints raising concerns about IEP implementation, parent participation, records access, prior written notice, and placement decisions. GCPS also attempted to move one of my children, a student with significant disabilities, from his special education placement by letter. There was no IEP meeting, no meaningful parent participation, no harmful effects analysis, no prior written notice explaining the decision. When I requested prior written notice, it was refused. I had to file due process and an emergency motion just to keep him in the placement that his IEP team had already documented. An administrative law judge ordered that he remain at his current school while the case proceeds. I have also had to repeatedly request progress records and source data to understand whether progress reports were actually supported by documentation. I'm asking this board to look at this pattern: prior written notice, reevaluation timeline, corrective action, IEP implementation, parent participation, placement decisions, progress reporting, data. Families should not have to become investigators, record auditors, public speakers just to get a school district to follow special education law. Most families cannot do this. I have to ask, how much money is Gwinnett County spending on outside counsel and special education disputes when those resources could be used to support students with IEPs? I'm not asking for special treatment, I'm asking for accountability. Who inside GCPS is responsible for making sure special education law is followed before families are forced into legal processes? Who verifies? This board has the authority and the obligation to ask those questions internally, and tonight I'm asking you to protect disabled students before their parents have to fight this hard.
Thank you. Next, we have Austin Crawford. After Austin Crawford, we have Holly Teray. Tanisha Banks. Tanisha Banks.
evening, board members. I didn't know how the vote was going to go today, so I have to rearrange my speech because I was going to go in today. But I appreciate the vote that you all did today. Thank you so very much. Let me go ahead and say the way that needs to be said. And we're going to stop acting like we're in a moment of decision. We're in a moment of consequences. The charter school bill has already been opened. Already opened the door, and now we get to watch what walks in. Because Senate Bill 82, which was, by the way, sponsored by MAGA Republicans, what it does, real simple, it creates another lane for public money to leave public schools. That's it. You can dress it up, call it choice, call it innovation, put a ribbon on it. But at the end of the day, when charter schools expand without guardrails, the money follows them, and the traditional public schools are left stretching thinner and thinner, trying to do more with less. And here's the part that gets me. We have family schools. Not one, not two, multiple, in one district alone. 14 or so schools struggling, and I have yet to hear clear actionable plan for how we're going to address that. Not a press release, not a slogan, a plan. Where's the forensic audit? Where's the equity audit? I heard it's coming. Because we're welcoming in a new superintendent, but didn't give her a clear, honest, starting data point. That's like asking somebody to fix a house while blindfolded and then blaming them when the roof caves in. Oh, so we move real fast when it comes to shifting money, but we move real slow when it comes to fixing what's broken. That's interesting. And let's not anybody get quiet now, because we all still are operating off of a QBE formula from the 1980s. 1980s. That means we're funding 2026 classrooms like gas still costs $1 and rent $400. It doesn't make sense. So, we shouldn't rush to decisions that impact generations of students without transparency, without updated data, and without accountability. And I'm glad that you all voted the way that you did. And we need to still fight to update the QBE formula. The children in this district deserve it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now we move on to board comments.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Tonight I wear one of my Gwinnett County Public School shirts because I stand with GCPS, and I stand with every local school district across this state that is asked to make educational decisions under legislative pressure designed to produce predetermined outcomes. I recently sat with school board members and superintendents from across this state during my annual mandated training as a school board member. I listened, I learned, I heard about the vastly different levels of resources, programs, and support available to students, and yet in every conversation, in every room, the North Star was the same: students first. Which is why what is happening to the public education in this state right now is difficult to reconcile. For example, since Senate Bill 82 became law last year, school boards are offered a $250,000 grant in exchange for approving charter petitions. And if school boards say no, we risk losing flexibility waivers such as GCPS's Strategic Waiver School System contract. The state has done all of this before providing a rubric and without providing guidance or training on how to evaluate petitions in the first place. That is not accountability. That is a system designed for GCPS and other local districts to fail. And it is pulling us further and further away from the one place we are supposed to be, with our students. And the challenges do not stop there. Just this week, In a special legislative session, Georgia lawmakers are taking up Senate Bill 33, which constrains how much property tax revenue school districts could collect. GCPS has responsibly lowered its millage rate, doing more with less, all while investing in teacher staff salaries, school safety, and student achievement. When revenue is capped and costs continue to rise, I am concerned. 90% of our budget is our people who could absorb the impact. That could mean teachers, that could mean counselors, that could also mean literacy programs or weapons detector systems that are currently in place. The education leaders I recently connected with, my vote tonight, and the GCPS core values and beliefs I'm committed to as a representative, particularly the commitment to data-driven decisions that center the needs of our students, all point to the same place: students first. So tonight I wear this shirt because I believe in what GCPS has built. I believe in the educators and staff who built it, and I maintain the capacity to continue leading with courage because every student needs now more than ever decision makers who put students first and at the center. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out this evening. And again, those of you who shared your comments, we always appreciate that. We were at the state school board conference sponsored by Georgia School Board Association last week in Savannah. And I think it was really encouraging to see one of our own, and I see him again here tonight, Kent Julian. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a Gwinnetian. Kent was a keynote speaker at the Georgia School Board Association event that we were all at last week. And he talked about an equation that has been researched more than just about any other success equation. And I really encourage that. And he got a good response from the leaders that were there, because what Kent believes is that the events don't have to shape your outcome. The events in your life plus the response to those events can shape the outcome and create resilience, create success, create opportunities to overcome. And I'm a testament to that, and I know you shared that too, Kent. Thanks for being here with us. Appreciate your interest in GCPS schools. Congrats to Dr. Taylor. I know it was unexpected, but it was fun to do that for you. And so I shout out to my colleagues for wanting to recognize Dr. Taylor and do it in a well thought out way and in a little bit of a surprise. Yeah, because we knew you wouldn't let us do it. Yeah. So thank you, though, for the almost year and a half that you have served as our interim. I know we gave you a shorter timeline than that. So I thought at any point in time you were going to say, hey, I didn't sign up for a year and a half of this. But you did it. You did the job. You did it well. Thank you. Congrats to Meadow Creek. Fantastic to see a state championship come out of that cluster. That was really exciting to see. Congrats to our HR department for the hard work that they've done and the awards that came with that or for that from some of their colleagues in the industry. And congrats to Jason Lane, who also would not have ever asked for or even desired recognition like that. And yet his service deserves that recognition, and I'm happy that we were able to do that. I will say just in a number of things that are concerning to me, it usually has a similar theme. And that similar theme is that this board continues to get out in front and make decisions without knowing the full implications. We did that with JCDI, and it led to chaos in discipline, and it led to losing a lot of tenured leaders who, when hands were tied in terms of being able to provide discipline and corrective action, could not, and we had to roll that back, and we had to start over again at a deficit. The safe zones policy, again, not opposed to a safe zone policy, but opposed to doing it when it's not fully baked and not fully thought out. And we had some training a couple weeks ago that was an attempt to be a part of the implementation. If you remember, the school district recommended that we postpone, not do it, but postpone the decision so that they could figure out what implementation would look like. We ignored that. It's created another chaotic situation. I think that this equity audit is similar. It's probably not, it probably can be retrieved in terms of the success, because I do believe the ERS is a good organization, but I do believe, again, what's the urgency? We could have waited a month. We could have waited a month or two. It's not like this is going to be a process that is done and successful when we get that report back. It's going to take years to implement. And yes, we do need a roadmap. And yes, it'll be helpful for the superintendent to have that roadmap. I just think that it was premature again. And I want to continue to remind my colleagues that the governance team is made up of the board and the superintendent. Dr. Taylor's done a great job, but he's been an interim superintendent. We know who our new superintendent is, and I wish we could just slow down, not get out in front of some of these things where we end up making a mess of it, and allow a really, really important and strong part of our governance team to have the input necessary to find the successful path forward for the entire system and the students we serve. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight. So we came off of graduation season, and it was exciting to participate. I had an opportunity to hit all 5 of my ceremonies this year, and some of the senior highlights that I wanted to share, we saw 14,802 graduates walk across the stage across all of our high schools, so that was just a super exciting moment. 4,966 of them were honor graduates, and $302.6 million in scholarships were awarded to our graduating class of 2026. So just a huge accomplishment. I wanted to uplift our graduates of 2026. Congratulations again. They are definitely going to go on to some great things out there. Thank you to the hard work that the staff did with the charter school presentation. We certainly had a robust discussion yesterday, and we had another one tonight. And the beauty of our legislature is they gave choice to parents. And there's nothing wrong with choice, because choice allows you to make your own decision when something might not be working the way you want it to work. And with choice comes hard decisions with something that might not be working that we being us sitting up here might have control over. And I take that as a task at hand, that we could control that and have work to do. So I, as a parent, I have kids in GCPS, and I would love to keep kids in our school system, but if we are not performing, parents want choice. Parents wanted choice when we had to shut down for COVID, and parents wanted to send kids back to school because they had to go to work, and what were they supposed to do with their kids? So we need choice. This was an opportunity for choice, and unfortunately, it didn't work out tonight, and we are off to another path on that. So here we are. An item of interest, action item for our community, the GEMS Oversight Committee applications are open. The tentative meeting date is October 29th. If you're interested in participating, this is an opportunity for community members and in collaboration with school system officials to review our AKS curriculum and provide input to the superintendent. Application does close on August 7th, and you can access that application on the district website. Again, another just big thank you and congratulations to Dr. Taylor. We absolutely love embarrassing you in the moment because we know how uncomfortable that those things make you. So, thank you again, and, congratulations. I am very grateful for your leadership and your stewardship of holding the keys to our school system for the last 14, 15 months or so. And I know you're going to pass on all your good knowledge and experience to Dr. Estrella and make that transition very, very seamless for her, and continue to support her as she starts in her role on July 1st and beyond as well. So thank you for all that you've done for us, and I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you all for joining us this evening. I just want to take the time to thank the district for all of the hard work they put into the Summer Leadership Conference. It was truly phenomenal. This was the first time our board got to really engage across multiple days, and my mind was blown. My mind was blown. I had no idea how much went into it, and the level of learning and engagement. It was spectacular. So I just wanted to say thank you to the entire team that worked so hard and diligently to uplift that invigorating and enlightening conference. At the conference, we had a Principal of the Year awardee, Dr. Rodney Jordan. So I guess I shouldn't be surprised that he's now going to be being promoted to cluster superintendent. I wanted to take this time to publicly congratulate him for all the hard work that he's done. He has actually increased the graduation rate at South Gwinnett by double digits, to the point that it's approaching 90%. I believe they were almost there. I don't know if they quite made it, but that is just a tremendous feat. And he is certainly to be commended and rewarded for his hard work. I look forward to his leadership as a cluster superintendent as he continues to impact student outcomes across multiple school sites, so congratulations there. And lastly, I wanted to express my excitement about Dr. Estrella coming on site July the 1st. She has been very much involved in working with us and meeting with us, engaging with us, and planning with us. I feel that she is well-equipped, well-prepared, and just as excited to be coming to Gwinnett County Public Schools. So I hope that you all will welcome her warmly. I'm sure she'll be coming around and touching base and making contact. I'm excited about this year and even the years beyond. As I was reelected, thank you all for the reelection.
Thank you, board members, for your comments. I first want to share that, in particular, related to our decisions we made today. I'm grateful for the board for really centering our core beliefs and values related to centering the needs of our students and doing what we can to close gaps. Investing in public school is really critical, and we need to do that now more than ever, because systemically we know that there are many things that are coming our way over the years that have, again, systemically divested from and defunded public education. So it's important that we consciously move in a way that recognizes the little things and the big things and the legislation and the programs or initiatives that may come our way that may sound great and wonderful and good, but yet they take away. They actually can end up exacerbating the gaps. So it's important for us to continue to walk with consciousness in the work that we do, and courage as well. Regarding the equity audit, I've been on this board for almost 7 years now, and I must say that the equity audit has been something that didn't happen overnight. It's been years and years and years in the making, a long time. So I'm very, very pleased that finally we've gotten to this day where we were able to vote to support an equity audit from ERS. So this has been in years in the making, and it wasn't just a rash decision. It was a very methodical process around making sure we chose the right firm, and we engaged our superintendent in the process, and that's really important. Also, I want to talk a little bit about policy JCD and our safe zones policy. As board members, I voted and supported these, and I also understand the role of the board. The role of the board is for us to make policies. We also work as a governance team, and we work with our superintendent, and the superintendent works with staff to ensure that the policies that we vote on can be operationalized in a way that could ensure success. I do think that it's important for us as we continue to move forward that we have really thoughtful execution around the policies that we support, that we vote on. And I'm looking forward to working with Dr. Straya as a team and her staff to ensure that we continue to look at ways on how we can execute that brings success for our school system, and not blaming the board for poor execution, or execution that could be done differently, but really focusing on how do we move forward and what do we do to do better. I want to share a little bit about the leadership conference. It was a great experience. Beautiful, beautiful. Rodney Johnson, Jordan, Lisette McRae, the Berkmar Cluster. I was super excited about the Berkmar Cluster winning the Cluster of the Year. And so I just want to congratulate all the other people. There were so many other people who got awards and recognition. And so I did find it valuable as a board member to be present, to sit, to listen, and to learn. So that was really helpful. And congratulations to our May graduates, our summer graduates coming up soon in July 1st. So I'm super excited about just all of the achievements that our students have achieved this year. And finally, I want to close with Juneteenth. Tomorrow is Juneteenth. I'm from Texas originally, so I feel very compelled to share the power of that, of Juneteenth, especially now. Juneteenth is really a day where many enslaved Africans in Texas learned of their freedom. More than 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation was issued, it reminds us that freedom delayed is freedom denied, and that justice requires action and courage. For me, again, Juneteenth represents our present, and it also is a reflection of our future. It challenges us to ask about access and opportunity, representation, and participation. The lesson of Juneteenth teaches us that freedom is interconnected, and as the saying goes from Fannie Lou Hamer, no one is free until we're all free. And that lesson is really, really important today when we look at our legislative efforts that reshape local governance, when we look at our local elections. Senate Bill 369 changed the election structure of the Gwinnett County Board of Education to nonpartisan. And now many people remain silent. But now we have House Bill 369 that changed the local offices to nonpartisan elections. And now people are saying a lot. All of this is interconnected, and this is an example of how no one is free until we're all free. Thank you. Dr. Taylor?
All right. Well, I'm the last one between you and the door, and this is a bittersweet moment. This is the last official board meeting for me, in this role. It's been such a tremendous opportunity, and I'm incredibly humbled by the trust that was extended, to me to assume this position. I plan to close and thank you all for the opportunity. So you completely threw me off a little earlier, and it's always incredibly uncomfortable. Very appreciative of the recognition. I think when someone asked me the other day what I learned the most about in this role, I paused for a minute, but then it came crystal clear. I thought I knew what the Board of Education and what a role and what the members on the Board of Education do, and I had no clue. And the piece that I walk away with, I think probably more than anything, is a much deeper appreciation for the work that you do, the criticisms that you have to endure, the weight of the decisions that you have to make, but you do it in a very tireless fashion, and I don't think everybody gets to see that. It's not just once a month for a couple of hours. This is work that takes place every day, multiple phone calls a day, multiple hours a day. And so that's definitely was a drive and inspiration for me. Of course, I also want to and as always, thank staff. We had a great year. Definitely appreciate the tremendous work, from all corners of the district. I think we really set Dr. Estrella up for success. Really excited for July 1st for this new chapter. It is a new beginning for us in GCPS. But July 1st also holds some personal importance. So it's a beginning, but it's also an ending for a couple staff members here tonight. This is also not only their last official board meeting, but their last couple days in the district. So I definitely want to recognize both Interim Chief Nebel, who stepped in and did a phenomenal job, as well as Tammy Ake, who's served as my right hand for this past year and helped me kind of navigate and figure this out. So didn't want to close without thanking you both for your work, and we wish you both well in your next chapters. All right. Good night.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Jay and Tammy, so much. Thank you. All right, if there's no further business, I need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I make a motion to adjourn this business meeting of the Gwinnett County Board of Education.
Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed say nay. It's unanimous. We are now out of executive session. We're now out of our board meeting.